Okay, so this is RedLeg Piper, and he's a married man, 42 years old with kids. And this is where he talks about how he quit his job of 12 years. And this was just not too long ago, about a month ago, month and a half, I would say. But yeah, let's get right to it.
So the quick answer as to how I left my warehouse distribution center job is for the last couple of years before I put my 2 weeks in, I planned my escape behind the scenes really quietly without anybody knowing. I got my home right, my finances right, got all my debt paid off, stacked a lot of money, and had something on the side prepared before I put my 2 weeks in. And nobody knew. I didn't tell a single soul until HR 2 weeks before I quit. I was at my warehouse distribution center job for almost 12 years. Started in 2010. And well, at that time, that was a pretty good job.
I thought my last job of 6 years was pretty long.
Good work environment.
But 12,
even though I was still loading trailers, what I was doing was I was in the shipping department my entire 12 years. Loading trailers full of products to be sent out to stores. Well, about year 6 into it, I ended up staying in shipping, but I put in a driving position to get on a forklift in a reach trailer or reach truck. So my last 6 remaining years with the company, I was a forklift operator in shipping department. Again, you know, it was okay about year 6, but I started to see a heavy decline when management started changing, when HR started changing, and the company got bought out by another company. Now, the job was still secured, more or less, regardless. This company's been around since the early 1900s, so it's not going anywhere anytime soon. However...
And by the way, for him to be able to pay off all the debts, including his house mortgage, that is very impressive to do before the age of 42. I will give him that. I mean, I know it's him and his wife combined, but that's still very impressive to do, while you're still in your 40s. Early 40s, I would say.
I quickly realized that the new management didn't give a shit about the team members and didn't give a shit about, anything about kissing ass to corporate, which, I mean, should be relatively common sense about any job, right? But it's kind of, not easy to wrap your head around when this job you've had for so long was a good job, right? It was a good job. It's not like I was going into a shitty job to begin with, where it was a toxic work environment. For half my time there, it was a good job. And then slowly but surely, management crept in and started allowing really bad team members to get away with a bunch of shit. Now, I'm all for hard work. I'm all for downtime as well. When you get your job done, you got a little bit of downtime. I'm cool with that. I used to do the same thing. But the job always had to get done. And the unfortunate thing about it is that the new management that crept into this warehouse, into this distribution center, was so toxic that they would allow the lazy people to sit around on pallets, go for half-hour bathroom breaks.
Oh boy.
Take longer regular breaks. Just disappear off the floor. Go talk to random girls. And a lot of the management would, flirt with the team members. They formed their own little clique. And I saw that coming a mile away, and I didn't like it. In fact, they wanted me, among a couple other hard-working individuals in the department, to take on the bulk of the work.
That's
and
bullshit.
For a while there, I was stupid. And I did. And I found real quick that I'm doing more...
I mean, I would say it's a natural habit for a hard worker to be programmed to do more work without even realizing that, hey, you're being used and abused. I had that happen to me before.
Work for the same amount of pay. I'm doing their work while they're slacking off and doing nothing while I'm getting paid the same amount of pay. No promotion, no extra money, no this or that. The company started slowly going downhill. No incentives to come into work, no incentives for a lot of things. And I'm probably preaching to the choir with probably 99% of jobs out there. And hold on, I'm not just bitching, okay? I'm going somewhere with this about how I got out of it and why I think you should too. The company, the management got so bad from top down that my wife actually worked there too for almost 20 years. She got me in.
Jeez.
She worked there for 20 years.
Yeah, his wife, I mean, a family member to be working at the same job as you, I don't know.
I was there for 12.
I'd rather be separated.
And
I'd rather work in two different...
She even saw it because she put in to be a manager. Now, like I said, she doesn't have any, no bad attendance, no write-ups, no nothing. Squeaky clean, history with the company for 20 years. I had squeaky clean attendance across the board, and no strikes on me, no write-ups or nothing. I was a hard worker, I thought, and she was a hard worker. We got stuff done. And, you know, and it's just unfortunate that the management, even though my wife wanted to become a manager at one point, they were promoting the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
It was the women that was going around sleeping around with the other managers and that were wearing hoochie shit were getting promoted. And my wife obviously ain't like that. And so she put in for manager 3 fucking times.
Oh,
3 fucking
man.
times she put in for manager. And they denied her every fucking time. Meanwhile, they're promoting women that are sleeping around, women that are flirting with other managers, wearing hoochie shit, running equipment off the dock and doing all these just tons of shit that they don't even know what the fuck they're doing.
It's more likely the young people. I mean, I'm just making assumptions. It's more likely the young people that they're hiring. You know, the young folks who are under 40 years old, younger than this guy, and they don't really give a shit. All they're doing is just like acting like they're the authority, they're the shit, and then they let the other young slackers do whatever the hell they want, and then they let poor guys like him and his wife, you know, do all the hard work and get nothing out of it. And they would get nothing out of it.
But somebody who dedicated 20 fucking years to your company with a squeaky clean record, who's been in all the other departments, every other fucking department. She knew the work of every other fucking department. You turned her down 3 fucking times. And you hire the hookers of the company. Or you promote the hookers of the company. What a slap in the fucking face, man. What a slap in the fucking face.
You can really feel the pain in this man's tone here.
Not only that, but it was just, you know, I got tired of...
And if it's not the case, then he must be a very damn good actor, which is not the case, but I'm just throwing that out there. But that, you cannot fake that. You really cannot fake that kind of pain.
Being used. I got so tired of being used for what? For no incentive whatsoever other than to make it work more harder,
like,
catch other people's
struggle.
red lights. It was like red light fucking district dumping that motherfucker. For some of y'all who don't know what red light means, is that the conveyor belts have so much product on them that it's getting backed up. That I ended up having to go up to these red lights because other lazy motherfuckers weren't doing their job, and the lane exploded and fucking boxes are falling off the fucking line and shit. And I'm trying to go in there and fix their shit, taking on the responsibility of the managers and some of their work to get their workload, some of their workload off their back, so their managers and their IOs aren't jumping down their back. In the meantime, half those motherfuckers are standing at their computer, ain't doing shit. Walking around, not helping, flirting around with other team members, sitting in their fucking office, making themselves look busy. And like I said, it's not like tiered. I mean, the next level up would have been, because you got team members, and that's it. Team members, managers, and above them were IOs, inbound, outbound, management, and then maintenance. And then obviously you got corporate and shit like that. But if you're just the bottom of the barrel team member, y'all get paid the fucking same. It don't matter if you've been there 2 years or 20 years. Y'all getting paid the same. And I dedicated 12 fucking years to this company, man. 12 fucking years. My wife put in 20 fucking years. For what? For fucking what? These companies don't give a shit. You could die tomorrow and they'll have a moment of silence over their PA if you're lucky. If you were on their side, on their good side, no matter how long you were there, you'll get maybe a minute of fucking silence, and then they replace you the same day.
Yep.
There's no incentive to work in these warehouse jobs anymore.
That's why, like, you don't want to attach yourself too much to your workplace. I have to tell myself the same thing, too. Like, I do have times when I cared a little too much about my job, and I have to tell myself, all right, look, they're going to replace you one day or the next. Every day is your last day, so don't even get too attached to it. Because as long as you have your savings, as long as you have your, you're growing your retirement accounts, like, that's all you can do at this point.
And it's not just because of the lazy people that they're bringing in. And this is true. I've seen it across the board at this job, at this warehouse for 12 years. And my wife's seen it for 20 years. They bring in the lazy people, and all they do is sit around on their phones, talking, bullshitting around, not getting the job done. And this isn't just Gen Z. This is fucking millennials, Gen Xers, baby boomers. They're all fucking not working. None of them are fucking working. And you got maybe 10%.
So it's pretty much, let me back that up a bit.
And this isn't just Gen Z. This is fucking millennials, Gen Xers, baby boomers. They're
all ages.
None of them are fucking working. And you got maybe 10%. 10% of the workforce in there is doing 90% of the fucking work for the same fucking pay.
It's pretty much like normie nation.
I took on a lot of the roles of management, doing startup meetings and shit. And that was my own fault.
The people who don't really give a shit about your whatever it is you're going through. Those are the kinds of people. Like you call them out on whatever the bullshit that they do. They're like, huh? What? I didn't do that.
But like I said, my mind wasn't right
Meanwhile,
because it
this
was a
dude
good
is
job
working his
for the
ass
first
off.
few years. It was worth going into back in 2010. And then shit just changed with management. And it starts at the top. People want to say, management want to say, well, if we could only get good workers in, that's like 50% of the freaking problem, man. Half the problem, if not more the problem, is them, the management. They're the reason why people don't want to work for them. Because they don't hold others accountable, and they sure as hell don't hold that same standard and hold themselves accountable. They don't want to get in there and help you out.
It's not the work itself.
I'm not saying all of them. There was a few managers in that company over 12 years. I can count on probably 1 or 2 hands out of hundreds, though. 10% were worth a damn. And those 10% of those managers that were worth a damn were overworked themselves, and their hands were tied. And there was shit they couldn't do. But the other 90%, the vast majority of management in these warehouse jobs, they're fucking worthless, man. They're pulling them off the street with a degree instead of hiring within with people who have experience and know the building, know the system, know the departments. And I'm not just jaded because my wife didn't get it 3 fucking times. Of course I am a little bit. Fuck them. You know who you are if you're watching. But it's just hire within, like promote within, man. Instead of pulling people who have a degree. Your degree ain't shit, man. Just because you have a degree don't mean you know how to fucking do operations in a building. There's team members that know how to do operations more than some of these fucking managers. It's ridiculous.
I mean, degree or not, like it's mainly comes down to like those people who act so entitled. So that's really the issue of a lot of these so-called, what was it? These guys, these slackers. I was gonna call them so-called hard workers, which means like, hey, look, guys, I work hard, and then here you are, you're taking 30-minute breaks, you're going around sitting on your ass and doing nothing. That's pretty much those kinds of people.
It's not worth it anymore. It's not worth going into these warehouse distribution jobs where you're treated like dog shit. And then you might be the 1% that's working hard. The other 90% are dog shit too. They don't want to fucking work. They want to sit around. They want to do the least amount of work as possible and get paid the most as possible for as long as possible. That's why you need to not quit. I'm not saying to quit. Don't quit because right now you need a job. I'm saying use your warehouse job as a stepping stool to quiet quit.
Yeah.
To get yourself in a place to where you can walk out and work at any job you want, like I did. And be happy doing a job you enjoy, even if it's less money, to where at any point in time, you can say, you know what, I don't like this job. I don't need you. You might need me, but I don't need you.
Yep.
Because I've been retired for the last 2 years, and I made a video about how I'm trying to search for purpose. Like, I had financially everything in order. I had all my ducks in order to quit this job at 12 years. And the reason why I didn't quit right away is because I have kids. I needed to make sure that I had a plan in place. And it took me 5 years of the 12 years to plan to get out from my escape. And I'm here to tell you, you can do the same thing. Plan your escape. Don't quit. Plan your escape. Because these warehouse jobs, these management, they don't give a shit. They don't care. And it's not just the management, it is people that don't want to work, man. It is people, and they sit there quietly laughing at you while you're hustling like a fucking rabbit all over the dock floor trying to get the shit done in time, just so you can go home and get paid the same amount of fucking money that these lazy motherfuckers are getting paid. And management is to blame. Who the fuck wants to work like that? Who wants to work like that?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of who wants to work like that, who the fuck wants to be in management over that? Shit has to change, man.
The absolute pain in that man's voice. Again, you cannot fake that. That has got to be. You really feel the pain in that tone.
It's crazy. These companies, the management does not care for you, for me, for anyone. They're about the dollar, and I get it. I mean, I get it. Corporate America, right? Corporatism. I get it. I'm for it too. But at the same time, grab your fucking balls, managers. Grab your fucking balls, man. Start HR. Grab your fucking balls. Start paying attention to the ones that are depressed and angry. Because the ones that are depressed and angry are most likely the ones that give a shit about your company. The ones that are just laughing it off and chit-chatting and bullshit, they don't give a fuck about your company. They don't give a fuck about work. It's the ones that become bitter in the job that you need to be paying attention to. And it's crazy because that's what they want. That's what these companies want, is for you to become bitter. So you walk out, so you quit. They don't want somebody who's been there 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. They want you out.
Yeah, and I think that's why there's people out there who just job hop and job hop. They don't. It's no longer the case nowadays where people stay at a job for several years. People just come in a job, work there for 6 months, a year, 2 years, three at most, and then just leave. That's just the way it goes. None of that is.
I'm in my
is
40s now, and I'm starting
okay.
to realize late that you should never count on one single job. Never count on one single job for your finances, for any kind of security, because there's no such thing as job security.
But the guy was able to pull himself out, pull himself out of debt, get his house paid off. He did that with having a cooperative wife and having you know and having kids. I mean, that's really hard. Like finding a decent wife and trying to have kids in this day of age is really, really hard. I have to say that this man, he got pretty lucky to find someone who's really, really good for him. Like someone who's able to cooperate financially and cooperate in the whole relationship. Very rare do you see that. Like nowadays, it's actually hard to find a decent person. This is why a lot of men, prefer to stay single because they don't want to be involved with this whole, with the bullshit that the women do nowadays. And like I said, the fact that he was able to do this before the age of 42, keep himself and his family secured, you got to give him a lot of credit for that.
Always be upping your skills. Always be maybe even looking into a trade, looking into bettering yourself, and planning your escape. If you work in some kind of dead end job, warehouse job, factory, they're all the same. Fucking everybody wants a job with a pension. Well, pensions are long dead and gone almost, and everything's just a 401k now. Union jobs aren't what they fucking used to be either. The union reps don't give a shit about you. They just keep the shitty employees. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Most unions, anyways. I'm not going to speak for all, but most unions don't give a shit anymore. I want you, if you enjoy your job and you love your job and you're satisfied in warehouse distribution work, typical warehouse job, more power to you. If you're happy, you're happy. But if you're like me and you got sick and tired of being sick and tired of that warehouse job, not so much because of the job itself, but because of the work environment, the toxic work environment, and the shitty management, plan your escape. Plan to quiet quit. Don't quit. Use that job as a stepping stone financially to get yourself out.
It's actually hard for many people to just to quit, to straight up quit. Some people just end up rage quitting and not taking it, and they don't have another job lined up. They don't have savings to themselves to their name. As some people just end up doing that.
Don't be like me, man, and invest 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years into a company that don't give a shit about you. And that only promote the shitty workers, the hookers of the company. It makes no fucking sense. Makes no sense, man. Shit makes no sense.
I mean, in a way, the guy is successful because, like I said, he built his savings, he paid off all his debts, including his house. He's a successful man. But let's say if he was completely broke or close to it, like doesn't have more than 3 months emergency fund, then I would look at it like, okay, that's a problem at 42 years old. But he already has success under his belt, so gotta give him that.
Definitely not saying to walk out on your responsibilities.
And I wouldn't, like, for someone like him, I wouldn't call him a late bloomer with success, because I mean, he's not somebody who went 35, 40 plus years of being broke like some of the other guys that I react to on my channel. But I would say that he worked his way to a pretty decent amount of success himself.
Not saying
now, if he was 47, 48, then I would call him a late bloomer, But yeah.
Do the right thing, stick it out, do what you have to do, to provide for yourself, provide for your family, pay your bills, stack some bread, do what you have to do. Don't quit. I'm not saying to quit. I'm saying plan for your quiet quit.
Yeah, definitely
I'll make
plan it.
another video on how to do that. But warehouse work.
But like I said, people's emotions get to them. Like they just stay at the job, sometimes even blow their money to where they're broke. And then the moment they get tired of it, boom, they got nothing to their name. And then next thing you know it, they get older. They hit 35 years old, 40 years old, 45 years old. They got nothing. And it's at the point where they're pretty much a slave to the system. Like I mentioned, at least this guy over here was able to get out of it. And more power to him, I have to say.
At least my experience, anyways, with it of 12 years. Maybe it was just the company that I was with, but I would assume the vast majority are the same. We just want good management, man. Because good management, real good management makes for a good work environment. And that in itself produces good employees and team members. Nobody wants to wake up and go to a toxic job. It's soul crunching, man. It's soul crushing. And yeah, I'm bitter. Of course I'm fucking bitter, man. And now I'm just trying to find purpose now that I've been out for 2 years and unemployed, thinking about going back to some kind of employment to find some kind of purpose. Because it's good to have purpose. The only difference is I'm going to a job because I want to be there. Not because I have to be there. Because I got my shit together over the course of 5 years. In that work environment that I didn't want to stay into, but I did because I knew I had to. And I know you can do the same thing if you put your mind to it. You get discipline, you find discipline. You can get to a place to where you can be somewhere because you want to be, not because you have to be. More and more people are quiet quitting their jobs, their warehouse jobs, their factory jobs, because they're seeing that it may pay okay, but the work environment is just toxic.
Well,
and the management makes it that way.
All right, well, I guess that's about it with this video. That's good that he's able to quit and build up the amount of savings. Oh, look at that, Mel Robbins. Looking, I speaking of Mel Robbins, I'm gonna upload that video maybe tomorrow. I know I was supposed to do it yesterday, but I got sidetracked. But yeah. See, that just 50 years ago, a man could work full time at the same place for 30 years and make enough for his stay-at-home wife and kids to live comfortably. Yeah, that used to be the dream. Not anymore now. Looking busy is the same thing as lying, and I've never been a good liar. Yeah. 36 years old and I've put in 110%. It sucks being taken advantage of. You either do that or you just pretty much you start your own business, start your own online gig. That's the other way. Better to be liked at your job. Yeah, better to be liked. It's really crazy. Loyalty gets you nowhere. That is exactly. That's why, people just come in and out. That's why save up your money as best as you can. Save up, invest. Invest some of it. I mean, balance your portfolio. If you have a good balance of stable index fund and put some of that money into something risky like crypto. And of course, don't put a majority of your money into crypto or any risky stocks or anything like that. I'm not saying to do that, but of course, balance everything else because you never know. You can get rich off of that. And again, I am not saying that crypto is the way to go, but just balancing yourself, keeping it safe is the way to go. Get out of warehouses. Yeah, that's about it. I think this video has gone on probably like half an hour, 25 minutes to a half an hour. The link is in the description down below. Yeah, the dude is absolutely livid. You cannot fake that kind of pain, if anything. He went through so much. I mean, he's not your typical TFLer, incel, black pillar, but he at least is somebody who has gone through so much with his life. He's able to make enough savings to where he's able to leave his job, and I'm happy for him. So that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching this, and let me know what you on the comments what you guys think. If am I being too off base? Am I a little bit accurate or on point with the reaction? Let me know what you think about my reaction as well as his commentary. So that's about it. Take care.